So I want to talk about something that I hear from my clients all the time. They come to me because they're miserable, they're full of anxiety, they're full of depression, they are overfunctioning, all these things, and they do not want to leave their marriage, but they are miserable in their marriage. They are miserable with their spouse. So this is not about why you should leave a marriage and let all that go, because there's valid reasons for staying, but it's going to be all about how to save yourself so that you can stay in that marriage and that you can make a decision from a place of clarity instead of a place of exhaustion and burnout and resentment. So before this video is over, you're going to understand why you keep doing the things you've been doing and what it actually looks like to step into a new version of you. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Keetra Thompson. I'm a certified master hypnotist, a relationship attachment style coach, and a midlife coach. So what I do with my clients is I help them go back on a subconscious level to reframe the programming that's driving their unwanted behaviors, their unwanted feelings, their reactivity, their depression, their anxiety, whatever that is, on a subconscious level so that they can move forward without all those roadblocks of the old programming, so they can actually feel better and not just talk about it for the rest of their lives. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can check out the link in the description below where we can set up a consultation where you and I can chat. I will help you get so much clarity, and there's no obligation, but I will give you my best recommendation if you and I would like to work together. So you can check it out there. So I heard a term recently that is really sort of an old saying, and it is, how do you find a needle in a haystack? And the people were referring to it as in, how do you find someone good in the dating pool? Well, the answer to how you find a needle in a haystack is you don't go digging through the stack. You burn down the haystack, because metal doesn't burn. And what's left will be the needle. Right? So what a lot of people do in their marriages is they get to a point of complete resentment. They get to a point where they feel like, I can never ever feel the way I want to feel or live the life I want to live if I stay with this person. And that might be true. It might be absolutely true, especially if you are dealing with emotional abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, and neglect. I could go on and on there. But you can make the shift inside of your marriage without burning it down, because sometimes people think they're the ones that they want to, like, they want to burn their relationship down. They want to do anything to make the other person leave them and destroy it so they can have a way out. And sometimes the other person ends up doing it because there's mutual dissatisfaction. So very quickly, let's talk about what you're doing in this relationship that is keeping you from saving yourself, from functioning in this relationship from an empowered place, from a place where you are actually meeting your own needs. Now, you're probably performing. You're probably playing a role that was programmed into your mind long before you ever entered this marriage. It's the way the people around you interacted in relationships. It's how they interacted with you in relationship. It's the assumptions you made by the observations in front of your face. It's the meaning you gave to those things, and you absorbed like a little sponge everyone else's view of how you should be in relationships, friendships, marriage, all of it. So probably a long time ago, you let go of the hopes and dreams and expectations that you were going to get your needs met inside of this relationship. And so instead, you started over functioning, like, oh, it's just easier if I do it myself. I'm not going to ask for what I need. And if I let it be there, I'm just going to be angry and resentful anyway. So I'm just going to do the thing. So we stopped having boundaries. We started performing and growing in our resentment with the expectation of what the other person should be doing, whether we thought they should be reading our mind or if we told them bluntly and directly and they still didn't do it. So we just kept doing it anyway. We just kept performing and doing the things that make us good. A good person, a good wife, a good husband. And we ended up feeling so exhausted and resentful that then our behavior turns into passive aggressive behavior, shut down, pulling away, distance making, all these things. And as you become really ingrained in it, you just kind of become these two ships passing in the night. There is interaction between the two of you, but you're not actually being honest about how you feel because no one's holding space for your feelings anyway. You're not asking for what you need because they keep ignoring them anyway. And so there has to be a dramatic shift, and it's not going to be from your partner. It's going to have to come from you. Now, in order to do this, you are going to have to commit to feeling really uncomfortable because it's not going to feel normal for you. You have dug a rut that you've been walking in. You know, those paths that are really, people walk down a path over and over, a dirt path, and it really gets like curved out. You're getting out of a deep rut. And so the next time someone asks you where something is that isn't your job to know, you aren't going to overfunction and answer where it is. Where's, open the fridge. I don't see the ketchup. I trust that you have every ability to find the ketchup, and you leave it at that. You set up boundaries. Let's say you like to be on time somewhere and your partner is always late. And it almost feels like they sabotaged you on purpose because they're on time for other things, but not for you or whatever. Or maybe they're late to everything, but it doesn't work for you. And then you end up being late and you end up being super upset and resentful, and it ruins your whole night. That's you giving away your power. Instead, you would say, I know you know how important it is for me to be on time. So I'm leaving at 5 o'clock, whether you're ready or not. I'm not mad at you about it. If you need extra time, it's totally fine. But I'm going to leave at 5 and you can meet me there. Now, I can see your brain going and thinking, oh, Keetra, you know the price I'm going to pay for saying that. You're thinking they're going to punish me. They're going to give me the silent treatment. They're going to argue with me. They're going to tell me I'm selfish. They're going to tell me it's a waste of money. They're going to tell me how dumb. Whatever it is, I don't care about that. What you have to do is be strong enough to do it and not take the bait to go down the path of the argument about it, where you just be a broken record and go, that's my decision. That's the way it is. That's what I'm doing. I already told you. I'm not sure which part you're not getting, but I'm leaving at 5. And love you. Wish we could be ready to leave at the same time. But if we can't, we can't. It is a full acceptance of who they are and how they show up in this relationship without abandoning your needs. Hear that. You have to fully accept who this dysfunctional partner is. All of their flaws, all of their defects, all of their annoying things, all of their self-protective habits, all of the stupid fights they pick for no reason, whatever it is, you fully accept it and you do not betray yourself. Most people who go, oh, I fully accept it, this just is the way it is, they keep playing the role. You have to stop playing the role and you have to say, I am not going to overfunction or let someone else ruin my night when I actually have the power. I can do things differently. So you have got to take your power back. You leave at 5 o'clock, whether they're ready or not. You don't engage in the old arguments that used to create all the distances they want so they can justify how pissed off they are at you and how awful you are. You just stop. So not only do you stop engaging in the old pattern, you have also got to start doing some things. You've got to start filling up your bucket. You've got to start determining what your needs are, how to meet them, how to build friend groups, how to join a water aerobics class, how to learn Tai Chi, how to learn indoor rock climbing, how to take a painting class, whatever this is, you have got to get strategic about building out environments, people, places, groups, activities that fill you up, that spark your imagination, that force you out of your comfort zone. Because me saying, oh, they fill you up, they spark your imagination, and you're thinking, yeah, but I don't want to go do those things. I don't have anyone to do them with, and I'm scared, and it doesn't feel good, and it's uncomfortable. Well, to get to the good, you're going to have to feel uncomfortable. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to try new things and try them on for size and see if they work for you until you have built a life that is so supported by your friends, by your hobbies, by your whatever feeds your soul, even if that is alone time with a book and soft music. Create a corner in your house, a little room, an extra something where you can just go be with you if that fills you up. Not one thing is going to fill you up. Keep that in mind. You're going to have to try a lot of things and you're going to have to really build that out. And you're going to have to stop expecting your partner to meet any of your needs. And you're going to have to stop trying to unconsciously get those needs met by being nice, by making their life easy, by filling the expectation of always making dinner or always doing XYZ. You've got to stop. It doesn't mean you never do those things. It means you stop doing them out of obligation just to keep the other person from being upset with you. You start putting yourself first, not in a mean way, not in a cruel way, but I'm going to meet my needs way. And along the way, you can invite the other person in. You can say, it would be great if you could join me. I would love it if you would join me in this new class. And you keep asking and you keep inviting and you keep letting, you're offering the branch, the olive branch. You're saying, come join me in my world. Or you can even say, hey, why don't you think of something that you want to try that's new and I'll try it with you. You try to create connection, but you don't do it from the standpoint that I'm going to get resentment built up in me if you don't do what I want or if you don't engage here, because your goal in this is to be happy and fulfilled inside this marriage. And if the marriage isn't fulfilling you, you're going to have to figure out how to fill yourself up. And so if you're determined not to leave, you're going to have to do this, because here's the deal. You're going to have to do this even if you get divorced, especially if you get divorced. You're going to have to build up a new friend group. You're going to have to build up new hobbies. You're going to have to explore new ways of being. You're going to have to understand and learn who you are and create the new you if you do get divorced. And I'm not saying that there are not people you should absolutely leave. There are. I've done it. I know. You can't stay in something with narcissistic behavior. You cannot stay in something that's constantly dysregulating your nervous system and wrecking your sense of self. But you've got to come to the point where you understand that there's old programming running the show. Your subconscious mind is running over 95% of everything you think, feel, and do. And it is primarily programmed from birth to age 7, because during that time you are actually in hypnosis. You are still in the theta brainwave state. And so you're assigning meaning to program a subconscious mind before you have any discernment, before you have any understanding. And then you add to that programming with your confirmation bias. And what ends up happening is the seeds that were planted very, very early on end up getting cemented in, really ingrained. And we don't feel like we can change because we feel like that is reality. But the truth is, it's not reality, it's your reality. But you created it, and the people around you were part of that process. So getting back to your authentic self is getting to the heart of where the seed was planted that is now creating a confirmation bias that makes you think, I don't deserve goodness. And this is exactly what I help my clients do. I help them to go back subconsciously in the hypnotherapy process, reframe those old beliefs that are driving their unwanted patterns. Those old beliefs have been deeply planted and they have been deeply watered with your confirmation bias, which means you start looking for evidence of what you believe to be true. And if the seed that was planted isn't true, you've been looking for evidence of something that isn't accurate your whole life. And if that belief was, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve good things, life sucks, you're looking for evidence to reaffirm that unconsciously, unknowingly, your entire life. And so you've got to stop functioning the way you were. You've got to challenge the old belief. And it is much harder to do without the subconscious work, because you are fighting against very deeply ingrained old patterns and you're using your willpower, which is controlled by the conscious part of your brain. That's the weak part of your brain. So it gets really tired and worn out and burned up and it gives up and the whole cycle starts again. So because the subconscious is so strong, because it's running 95% of everything, and our willpower isn't controlled by the subconscious, our willpower isn't going to help us change the subconscious patterns. So The fastest way to get there is custom hypnotherapy, which is exactly what I do with my clients. So we get to the root, we deal with the confirmation bias, and we build in the new way of being. We calm the nervous system. We do so much work to get you to a holistic place of wholeness by using somatic practices with your nervous system, subconscious reframing with hypnotherapy, and actually learning how to communicate and use boundaries after the subconscious stuff is reframed. Because if you try to do it before, you're just facing this internal battle of what the subconscious is telling you, and you're trying to use a boundary and communication tool to make it better, but it doesn't, because the subconscious is like a freight train. Like if you suddenly tell a full speed freight train to stop because there's something on the tracks, it isn't going to stop. It can't. It's too powerful. It's going to plow through whatever is on the track, even if that's a house. So you using your willpower to try to stop your subconscious mind, which is like a freight train, just doesn't cut it. It takes an extreme amount of repetition before you even get close to being able to do that without total frustration. So getting to that point where you're meeting your own needs and you are full of clarity, that's actually where you want to get, even if you want a divorce. You want to make that decision from clarity, not from pain, resentment, and confusion. So whether you want to stay or whether you want to leave, it's still incredibly important that you do this process. So if you'd like to learn more, as always, set up that consultation call so that you and I can chat and you can get some clarity about what's going on underneath the surface and exactly what steps you should be taking to move forward in a new direction. You can also check out the link for my free hypnosis download that is in the description as well. And I believe there's also a quiz that you can take to find a little more clarity about what's going on inside of you and why you're exhausted and betraying yourself and your own needs. So those are some clarity tools. But again, if you'd like some help, we can chat. As always, if this content resonates with you, I really appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe so you would be notified every time I post a new video, and it actually helps me to keep you informed and to reach other people, and it's the best way that you can support me here. So I hope this was helpful, and until next time, I hope you curate a life by your own design.